Today we're gonna treat external arterial bleeding. It's basically part of so many injuries that we get out in the backcountry.
You know it's an arterial bleed because it's spurting, it's trying to hit the sky, and it's bright red and it'll be everywhere. Probably the most common that you'll see is through a direct laceration. So you'll either be hit by something or even the edge of a ski or a board, and it will cut where the where the artery is close to the skin, be that the brachial artery in the elbow, femoral in your groin or in your leg. It could be that in a big trauma that you'll get what we call an open fracture, and as the bone breaks and might come through the skin, it'll also tear the artery with it. Actually, the arterial bleeds are one of the easiest things to treat. It's fairly simple, it's just direct pressure. They look terrifying because there's blood spurting everywhere, but you must remember your scene safety. Make sure that you're not going to get caught up in whatever caused that injury. Make sure that someone you're with is calling the emergency services, you're going to need them. And then get straight in there to that casualty. The first thing I'm going to do is literally come right in and just put my fist on it. Just get my fist in there, and I'm leaning on it as hard as I can. You might have a bandage, or even better, a pressure bandage. Just get something in there to put on top to soak up all that blood. And then I'm gonna try, you've only got a simple bandage, this isn't a proper pressure dressing, but I'm really putting pressure around that wound. Just rip the end of the bandage.
This is how the pros do it.
Come round. And then just tie it off, okay? While I'm doing that, I might just be talking to you, checking that your airway's okay, checking your breathing rate, saying, are you okay? Can you still talk to me? And if I start seeing blood coming through there, I could then try a second pressure dressing, if I had one, putting another bandage on top. If that doesn't work, and you're still bleeding through both these pressure dressings, and you're going to have to apply a tourniquet. If you've seen that someone's leg's like half hanging off, you might want to go straight in for the tourniquet before you do the pressure dressing, and that will just depend on how serious the injury is.
So that's a proper tourniquet?
This is a proper combat tourniquet, so this is something that I would carry in my main medical kit. We can have a look at things that you can improvise with. But you're going to put this on just as close to the injury as you can, probably sort of a couple of inches above the injury. You're going to put that on really tight. Can you feel that it's tight? Mm-hmm. And then this is when it's going to start getting tighter. So I'm going to twist this. This is like a windlass mechanism. How tight's that?
Yeah, it's getting really tight. Yeah.
Is that painful?
It's still okay. But, yeah.
So it's going to get painful in a minute.
Yeah.
You tell me when that gets painful.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So normally I'd leave it as really painful and tie it off there. And then you're going to slide that under there, and what's really important is it even says there time. Is write down the time that you put that on, because you don't want to leave the maximum time you want to leave that on for is about 4 hours.
Okay.
So depending on how long your evacuation is, you might need to release it off in 4 hours time.
And how long do you need to release it for?
For actually only just less than a minute. Really, a couple of minutes, but in order to make sure that you get the blood back to this leg and you're flushing out all those metabolites that are caught up in this leg. You could just use something like a ski strap. Again, putting that on. You don't have that twisty mechanism, so you want to make sure that's really tight, or as
it's pretty tight there.
As tight as that's going to go, to stop the bleeding. Okay, and then you can always put...
And you can see the result.
That bleeding should slowly stop. So again, it's just another makeshift one. If you've got a sling and a carabiner, you could just hook that onto the end, and then using your sort of windlass mechanism here, just try and twist it up.
Definitely works.
Like that. And if you've got a harness on or another carabiner, you could just hook that on there to keep it tight. Once you're happy that the bleeding has stopped, If you can, or you've got a mechanism to do so, you could just elevate the leg as well. If the patient's feeling a bit giddy or dizzy, you can lie them down, put their head down on the floor, but they might feel more comfortable just propped up. You then need to really try and get your casualty warm. So hypothermia and cold is part of the lethal triad in medicine, and if they're cold, they're not going to clot their blood, the bleeding's not going to stop, and the mortality level or the possibility of them dying increases.
Okay.
So it's really important to then try and get some a safety blanket underneath them, keep them as warm as possible, and yeah, get ready for the evacuation.
Thank you so much, Lucy. This is such valuable information. It's pretty basic. I think it's good to put it into our heads sometimes, so if it happens, we are ready. So thank you for this great information. Be safe and have a great winter.